Hi there, that's right, it's Nick Dutch, and I'm back on the camera again one more time. Hi there, how the heck's it going now? The YouTube user, whose channel name is GothAtFunk, has done a video recently on the subject of suffering. And I just want to try and back with some personal opinions, because, you know, that's more or less all we do here on YouTube, is come out with opinions. And I'm just going to give you mine, slightly different tangents and all the rest of that. And I'm going to illustrate my point with some things from my life. I've just had a meal. It wasn't a special meal, it was one microwave baked potato with a tin of supermarket vegetable curry poured over it. And you might think, yeah right, well what's so important about that? Well, it's very important. Why is it so important? Well, because on 2 separate times in my life I have had a Helicobacter infection that was so extreme that I could not even look at any form of food without feeling like I'm going to throw up. During the more recent bout of this, which was a couple of years ago, 5-6 years ago I think, can't remember precisely, but never mind, it was a few years back. The only food I could eat in a day was 1 biscuit a day. That's all I could physically get into me. Alright, and even that was a struggle and very, very painful. With the help of the medical profession and the right medicines and some good advice on how to take the medicines, how to look after myself and all the rest of that, after a period of time, that health problem subsided. And today, I can eat a meal. Now, what that health problem showed me was gratitude. A real and important gift of gratitude. Well, what have I got to be grateful for? For the fact I can eat a meal. For the fact I can cook a meal and I can eat it. And that is amazing and that is wonderful. There's lots of other things in the world that I'm grateful for. I mean, I'm terrified at the moment because I've got this whopping great tax bill to pay, I've got a national insurance shortfall to cover, I've still got to cover my council tax, my electric, my water, my gas, my, you know, all the rest of that stuff. And I'm just thinking to myself, where the heck's the money going to come from? But I'm still, what is it now, richer than 99% of the population because I'm someone who has a computer. 99% of the global population. And I can find out about their suffering through using that very same computer to look up what's happening in the third world. And I can see what they're going through. Yeah, what I've got is an accident of birth. I'm lucky to be born in a country that has a good health system. I'm lucky to be born in a country which, as a result of history, has got technological advancement. I'm lucky to be able to do just some things that we take for granted. I mean, just something as simple as going down to a supermarket and being able to do some shopping to buy the potatoes that I need for a few meals. There's people in the third world who don't do that. We can learn things from suffering. And the benefits that we've got, we can try and give to other people. And we can try and, through charitable work and other things, try and level the playing field. Then maybe bit by bit we'll be able to do it. I can't do it myself. Just, you know, I personally can't completely revolutionize the way the entire world works. But maybe I can do something. But we also need to be armed with the right forms of wisdom, the right tools of reasoning, to be able to effectively and properly understand the gratitude and see that in perspective. Now, New Age thinking would have you presuppose that if you get a serious disease, it's there to teach you something, and then once you've learned what it is, then that disease will go. Is that necessarily the case? Well, that's a belief. I don't think that we can turn that into a truth claim, because if you're so sickly that you're doubled over in pain, the last thing that you are capable of doing is sitting and thinking about how your emotions from when you were, I don't know, 2 years old might have affected your digestive health problems when you're in your 30s. You can't do that. It's not actually possible. Some health problems can actually stop you from being able to think. So the idea of thinking about your problems in order to cure your health problems is a complete misnomer. It's a fallacy. It's wrong. But the concept of contemplation to help us to better understand ourselves and to be able to generate gratitude, to be able to generate an emotion of compassion and empathy for people who are not as fortunate as someone who can go down to a supermarket and buy a meal, or for someone who can actually eat a meal. Maybe this gratitude can spur us on to other forms of action to help other people in different ways which are appropriate. I mean, New Age thinking has got some interesting ideas and misinterpretations of ideas. One of those ideas is that if there's anything in your life which is at all negative or a problem at all, then you chose it. There might be some kind of spiritual truth to that, we don't know. But it's a truth claim, and a rather extreme one at that. Because people take that in two different ways. On one way they say, okay, so if I have chosen this, what can I learn about it? What's complexity of understanding can I build up as to why perhaps I am suffering from this? Or what benefits can I get out of having gone through this form of suffering? That's one way. But the other way, which is the thoroughly incorrect and inappropriate way, is to assume that if someone is going through some suffering or some pain, then they chose it, therefore that's their responsibility, their fault, and I'm not going to do anything about it. And there's even some people who think that if I go out and hurt someone, it's because they chose it. So there are some people who are actively going out to damage other people because it's them that chose it, it's them that's responsible for it. Which is sick, twisted, screwed up reasoning. And it's a temperament which is completely wrong. Now, if we can get the balance of attitudes correct, then the attitude of developing gratitude for simple things, as well as the attitude for working out what you may have chosen, what you may not have chosen, what benefits you could possibly get from these things which you might and or might not have chosen, which are affecting you. Could actually be quite useful for your own personal development, growth, and all the rest of that. And these are things that you got to remember. But there can also be gross misinterpretations of these apparent religious or spiritual truths, which can in fact be dangerous or detrimental to the individual or indeed to other individuals. So when we're tackling the subject of suffering, we've got to get our conclusions in perspective.